Welcome all, welcome back to WatchAdvisor on YouTube. It's Alexander speaking, your host, and on your screen you do see 3 watches. They are all part of the Bulgari Aluminium collection. Don't forget to subscribe and to hit the bell to get our latest notifications. The Bulgari Aluminium watches were introduced the first time in 1998. I'm sure some of you do remember this. We also have to clearly say these aluminium watches were among the first noticeable watches that Bulgari ever created. And yeah, in 2020, they brought them back on the market, and this year the collection was extended with the 3 models you see on your screen. The actual Bulgari Aluminium watch is not a simple re-edition of the watches introduced in the 90s. It is an extensively revisited timepiece capitalizing on the meanwhile gathered know-how of Bulgari in manufacturing mechanical wristwatches. So we also talk about new materials, especially here, materials that are used for medical and airplane industry, such as the aluminium 6082, yes. It's a high-tech aluminium, and the rubber that has been used for these watches is a so-called FKM, Foxtrot Kilo Mike rubber. So high-tech rubber, high-tech aluminium, and not just a simple re-edition as others would have probably done it. So what would a re-edition be if there wouldn't be any emotions also brought? So of course it's new edition of the aluminium is brought to the markets with 3 big names, 2 Italian brands recognized for their expertise, and yes, 1 famous Japanese illustrator. And it is how it is today. You need to emotionalize a product, and that's the way of selling, of course, also, but still the watch remains the typical Bulgari Aluminium with all it is made out of. It is simply a cool watch, a very light watch, and also we have to say this, quite affordable. Now let me start with the Japanese illustrator, the famous Japanese illustrator, and show you the watch, the freehand watch on your screen. The freehand watch with a silvered dial with perlage patterns and good visible markers with a luminescent material. So the freehand watch is a cooperation with the Japanese artist Sorayama. So what do you get? You get a 40mm case. The lock-to-lock distance is 47 millimeter. Also good to mention that the case back is a DLC coated titanium case back. The watch features a rubber bezel. The case back is personalized with the Sorayama logo. Yes, you can see this. Of course, a limitation number. 1000 pieces, and the watch is waterproof up to 100 meter. 42 hours of power reserve. These watches also price-wise can of course not be powered by a Bulgari manufactured movement. What you will find here are either Celita or ETA movements that are powering these watches. You have to say this, the watch is sold for 3,400 euro including VAT, value added tax. So if you consider the fact that it is a 19% VAT, if you take the net price, that's quite a good offer you get. It is a cool watch, very light, fits perfectly on your wrist, looks good, and this silver dial with that perlage pattern is an eye catcher, I would say. We do also have to admit, or at least say, that the readability due to that gray look might be in certain circumstances, could be a little bit more difficult, but okay. It is still perfectly readable all the time. Let me just add something about the way how Bulgari in this case is handling the limitation. You can prominently read limited edition of XXX pieces, 1,000 pieces, 100 pieces, whatsoever. This is kind of a limitation I personally, that's my very personal opinion, I don't really like. The reason is because, yeah, they do this to avoid all the battle around who gets which number. Everybody wants his personal number, and of course you can't satisfy all the needs and all the wishes of all clients. That's impossible. On the other hand side, 1 out of 1,000, yeah, okay. I would have done nothing comparable, just said it is a limited edition of 1,000 pieces and only manufactured 1,000 pieces, and when it's sold out, it's sold out. But okay, that's a way of handling it. I personally think if you do a limitation, then okay, tell everyone that it is 1 out, 2 out, etc. of 1,000. Consider the fact that some maybe will not get their favorite limited number, and that's how it is. But those who buy the watch at least know that it is definitely 1 out of, and not only said 1 out of, if you understand me correctly. The Bulgari Aluminium with the red dial is a cooperation with the company Ducati, the famous Italian motorcycle manufacturer that belongs to the Volkswagen Group. Red is the typical color for a Ducati, therefore we also do see a red dial. It is, as the gray watch, a 40mm watch. It features also a titanium case back coated with black DLC. The water tightness is equally 100 meters, so all these key facts are the same through this little collection of limited pieces. Of course, also here we have to say the watch is powered by a ETA Oscillita caliber for 5,000 euros, including VAT. You can't make it better because you get high-tech materials, a limited edition, everything you want. But there is now no miracles. Imagining that they put in in-house movement, the watch would be sold for double of the price probably. You couldn't make it differently. Yes, 3 sub-counters. You do have the running seconds, you do have a 30-minute counter and a 12-hour counter on the dial. This enables you, yes, to make all the readings you want. So the date in this case is positioned at 4:30. I said that in one of the videos recently. I like the positioning of the date at 4:30 because it's not disturbing. Imagine the date would be positioned at 6 o'clock. The sub-dial couldn't be there. Imagine the date would be positioned at 3 o'clock. The sub-dial couldn't be there. It's a logical way to position it at 4:30 since there's space. The only thing I not very much appreciate here is the fact that the date disc is white. They should have done this little effort to, yeah, put a red date disc matching the color of the dial. That would have looked much better. The only flaw probably of this cool chronograph, also a limited edition of 1,000 pieces. The same applies here as what I said first. Yeah, 1 out of 1,000. What does this mean? Could mean a lot and nothing. So I am not very, yeah, I don't like this kind of, okay, I said it before. Okay, good. But still, a very cool chronograph. Also fits perfectly on the wrist. As you see, it fits good. Fits good, looks good, and reflects this spirit of the 1990s of Bulgari. I remember when they released these aluminium watches, they were so cool. It was a demonstration of good taste, let me put it that way, a demonstration of good taste if you were wearing such a watch, because you were mirroring good taste and a watch, yeah, that was not as prominently known to all watch aficionados as a Rolex or other models. So you were wearing something very Italian on your wrist, and this is still today the case. It's very Italian, very particular. It's a very special material, very special making, also with the prominently engraved rubber bezel with the word Bulgari on it. So it's a very particular watch, but yeah, very Italian, molto italiano. If you are among those who the first time watch a video on WatchAdvisor, you might probably thought, what is the guy doing with that pointer scratching the watches? No, of course I'm not. As you can see on your screen now, the pointer is made from the Swiss manufacturer BVLGARI. The ordering number, if you want to order one, is 7010, and it's a plastic pointer, and BVLGARI is a company that is manufacturing lots of things that the watch industry needs, tools, etc., tooling, etc., etc., etc. And of course, they do also manufacture a plastic pointer for purposes as you see it here on the screen, for pointing out, demonstration, etc. It's plastic, will not scratch the watch. The third watch in that aluminum collection is a partnership with Amerigo Vespucci. Amerigo Vespucci. This is the name of a big sailing boat of the Italian Navy. And this sailing boat is a training boat. This is where young sailors are trained to become officers for the Italian Navy. And yeah, Bulgari is partnering with Amerigo Vespucci. This is they call it, or they want that this watch is a GMT. It has a GMT indication, as you can see, but yeah, we have to say it is a desktop GMT in this case. Why do I say this? Because the movement they use, same here, applies as on the two watches before, either Silita or ETA. This movement is not able to display the GMT in the way as we are used to have it when you, for instance, buy an Omega watch, a Rolex watch, and many others. So there is no home time function. So you can clearly see, please watch on your screen, you pull out the crown. If you turn the crown in the one direction, you are changing the date. You can see this, and if you turn the crown in the other direction, you are changing the second zone time. The disadvantage of having it done this way is when you travel, you come to a country, you arrive in a new time zone somewhere where there is another zone time. And what you then have to do, if you want to display the local time on this watch, you have to stop the entire watch. You will lose correct time. You will have to reset by pulling out the crown in the second position, the hands to the actual local time, and then also reset your reference time at home. So it's quite complicated if you are using the watch for traveling, but it is a perfect watch if you're using it at home. And this is why I call that desktop GMT, because once you are at home and you don't change home time and you don't want to have home time being displayed on the main minute and hour hand, then it is perfectly to use, because what you do, and this is what I just showed you, you pull out the crown and then you just in 1 hour steps change the yellow hand with the yellow pointer, the GMT hand, and then you get indicated the zone time in the time zone of your friend, your business partner, etc. So for using it at home, bravo, that's the good watch. But for traveling, okay, you can still use it, but it's maybe a little bit complicated to use this watch. You are buying a perfect mechanical watch that shows you the time exactly. So what's the purpose of stopping the entire movement to reset the watch for the time zone you're arriving in? There is none. Okay, what else to say? 40 millimeters, aluminium. We do have, yeah, the rubber, bezel, everything. We do have the DLC coated titanium case back with all the engravings, with the limitations. The watch is also waterproof, 100 meter, of course. The lug to lug distance, this is what I wanted to say, is as well 47 millimeter. The cases are the same, the technical data more or less the same, and has a power reserve of 42 hours. This is also a limited edition of 1,000 pieces, and it is sold, and this is really the cool thing here, it is sold for 3,950 euro, including 19% VAT. That's really a bargain, I would say, and you get a cool watch end of the day. Okay, it is probably not the best watch for traveling, but okay, that's a little flaw. One doesn't have to worry so much if you are okay with the fact that you will have to stop the watch and rechange, or you are among those who don't want. That's also a possibility, of course, if you don't want to. Turn it around and you are okay with the watch that it is showing you with the main hands, the home time, and you read the local time from the third hour end with that yellow arrow, then it's also okay. You can use it that way. So, cool watch in cooperation with that Amerigo Vespucci sailing boat of the Italian Navy. An icon never dies, and this is again the proof with the re-editions. I said re-edition. I said before it's not a re-edition, but in a way it is of course a re-edition, but it's not a re-edition they just did by, re-edit some of the models of the past. They have been, of course, pushing the boundaries a little bit further by the materials they have been choosing, by the models, by the partnerships, etc. So they have been really emotionalizing these products and giving them a new USP. That's how it should be done. So an icon never dies. We once again have the proof here. Aluminium watches from Bulgari. Quite interesting also price-wise. If you want to buy a watch that stands out, that is not mainstream, if you want to distinguish yourself, if you are into Italian lifestyle, etc., or the easy way of going, lightness, particular material, the combination of rubber and aluminium, if you like all this, these are watches you really should try on your wrist. You will be amazed how light they are and cool they look. They almost melt with your wrist, also due to the fact that these watches are ultralight. And they do look good and they are different. So if you want to distinguish yourself and if you are into Italian lifestyle, you should go and check them out. Leave your comments in the comment section about these watches. Let us know, share with us what you think about them. Me, as someone who know these watches since the day when they introduced them, 1990, it was in 1998. I do very much remember this launch. At the time being, I was really amazed because it was something that absolutely stood out. Nothing comparable was on the market at the time being, and they were really absolutely cool, and they are still cool. I know I was using the word cool quite often, but it has to be as it has to be. Sometimes I'm doing it. Okay, thanks for watching another video on our WatchAdvisor, where the watches are the stars. And your comments are welcome in the comment section. And see you back here very soon for another video on WatchAdvisor. Bye-bye.